Okay, so we are going to start a Camo Peekaboo Woodgrain tumbler today using all alcohol inks. So I have a 20-ounce Modern Curve from Stainless Depot, and I have a whole bunch of alcohol inks pulled, and I'm just going to start dropping them on. Just orange, greens, brown, maybe a couple drops of slate or a black. But the brown and the orange will kind of make black to begin with, so I don't typically do a ton of that. But I'm just going to start filling my sheet with color. I grab different colors every time I do one of these, so whatever you have in that range will work. Another orange that I don't necessarily want. Some people will wrap the tumblers and let them sit overnight and do it that kind of method. That is not how I do my camo. I don't find that's the best way. So, like, I'll start this and work my way through it and it'll be done. This is a greenish brown. It is oregano. I also have pesto, which is another greeny brown. And then I'm going to put just a couple of drops of teakwood for a dark brown. I'm probably going to use teakwood for the top ink, so the wood grain. Alright, so what I'm going to do is put the tumbler down in the middle of it and just flip it over. And it's going to look a disgusting hot mess to start with. If you haven't seen one of these done, please trust the process. I'm going to scrunch it. And I'm going to go ahead and fold over the bottom and scrunch the bottom some. Since this piece is big enough to do the bottom, and even gloved up, I've already got ink on myself. So, while this is very, very wet, I'm going to go ahead and grab another little piece and scrunch it up, and I am just going to pounce it around. This is my method. This is what has always worked for me. And I am impatient, so as my piece gets dirty, I'm just going to grab a fresh one and basically lather, rinse, repeat. If you feel like you need more ink, you can pick some up off your original paper. And it will dry as you go. Don't freak out, it's supposed to be. Just go ahead in and pick up some more. And if you want more of a specific color, I'm going to set this down for a second. Cut up a couple more little pieces. Like say I want more orange and more pesto. And it'll loosen these back up as they start to dry. Because you don't want any white spots. And remember, this one's going to be a peekaboo, so a lot of this one's getting covered up. So when I'm placing my decals, I will kind of strategically pick my favorite spaces. I do have a little piece of something stuck here. And if you want, you can even go into your original piece and blot some back on. Because this will be like sticky as it dries, it'll kind of almost leave like a branchier look. And I feel like there's more of that bright green on here than I typically like. So I'm going to come in again with that pesto. The oregano. Oops. I'm making a mess. This is why we wear gloves, especially when it's right before work. And I'm going to go ahead with the espresso, actually. You basically can't mess this tumbler up. Like, it's physically impossible to. Because you can go over and over and over it 1,000 times if you want. So I'm actually digging the way the bottom's going to look. The bottom's only going to get a little bit of decal work anyways. But that is it. I'm going to let this dry for just a little bit. And I'm going to get my epoxy mixed up and we're going to get a coat right on. Okay, so this is ready for its coat of epoxy. Okay, I am going to be in trouble with the timing on this. This is why I don't like these tumblers, and I had to go to work last night, so I didn't get to babysit it. It did blow a bubble out the seal. Sometimes the caps have trapped air, and that happens. So I do have to work around this. I'm going to try and form this into a knot because it's going to be visible under the spray paint no matter what I do. So I'm going to have to do my best to work around it. hopefully I'm sized okay to work around the curve with my decals. I resized my deer, but I didn't resize my TRex for this one, so because I am like rapidly headed into panic mode on getting this done. Not because I'm out of time, but because our weather is finally going to shift, and we are expecting a system coming in here. So, and I'm also going over a curve, so this is going to be fun. I figured if it's just the legs going down the curve, I would probably be okay. So when I resized, I kind of did it with that in mind. Perfect. So I'm going to flip it so that's on this side, and then I'm going to get the other one. So there we go. I'm going to get this outside, get it spray painted. Okay, so I'm going to do the wood grain on this. Like I said, this was going to stand out tremendously. Then I nipped the paint, but it is what it is. I'm going to use the Tim Holtz Teakwood Ranger alcohol ink, and I'm just going to get going. 1-inch chip brush is my preferred wood grain brush. I'm just going to go over that for now, normal like, and then come back and try and build up a knot around it and in the center of it, if I can. It's not my best skill, but we'll see. I'm just going to make one more pass around and make sure I have no white. Then I'm going to do the bottom and then see what I can do about that little knotty bit. And the bottom, same thing. I try not to let it run over the edge. If I do, I'll come back in and fix it, but so I don't see any more white. I actually really like the character of this, except for this bit right here. And this right here. So I actually kind of like it. It does look like a real knot in a tree. So I'm going to chalk that up as happy accidents. I'm actually pretty pleased with this overall. So I'm going to go ahead and go straight into pulling decals because they need to come off as quickly as possible. The longer they sit, the harder they get to remove, typically. This part is tedious, time-consuming, and nerve-wracking. That was there. That's its little eye or whatever. So I'm going to carry on with this, get the rest of the decals removed, and then to touch it up, I will just grab like maybe the side of the brush, just one little damp bristle or two, and just go in and hit any spots. And if I can't get them with the bigger brush, I'll just grab a smaller brush. But that's how I will address those little nicks. Okay, so this one is ready for the epoxy. I love it. I think it came out great. Okay, I'm gonna give this a quick torch. It looks beautiful. show you the bottom. Just the little prints. I absolutely love the way the camo came out on this particular one. So that is it for this one. Excellent man tumbler. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.